Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We'll be talking about the PTI after the Election Commission's verdict of not having given them the symbol of bat, the ramifications of this politically for the political party in the upcoming polls. What can we expect? We'll be talking about that. Of course, we'll also be talking about what the options are at this time, so close to the elections, what can be expected. After this decision by the ECP. We'll also be talking about the overall political situation and the challenges that are in store for all political parties, considering, of course, the seat adjustments that seem to be involved in Punjab. Of course, we've seen the situation in Balochistan overall, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa also. What kind of an overall makeup will emerge in the forthcoming elections? All of that today on Perspective. I have with me today Aniq Zafar, who's a political analyst. Thank you for being with us today. We also have with us Qaiser Sheikh from the PML-N. Thank you for joining us. And Rashid from the PPP. Thank you for being with us. Aniq Sahab, like we were saying, this symbol, this seems to be a huge deal for the PTI as a political party, losing its symbol so close to the elections. Now that you know where the date is and what the situation is, what do you expect for them? What's in store for them as a political party?
Well, PTI, the real issue with PTI right now is that their elections, intra-party elections, have not been accepted. So if intra-party elections have not been accepted, that means that PTI does not qualify to be a party that can participate in the elections, right? So the first step for them is to perhaps hold elections again according to their own constitution and to the satisfaction of the Election Commission, or the second option is to go to the courts against the verdict of the Election Commission of Pakistan. Okay. So they have these options. We are running on a very tight schedule right now. Tomorrow is the last day of filing nomination papers. Then the process of scrutiny starts. Around 5th scrutiny ends, and by 13th, I guess, all candidates have to be allotted the symbols. So the timeline is such that PTI will have to run to the courts, use all platforms to try and win back its symbol. Otherwise, the situation will be chaotic for PTI in the sense that too many people will be claiming that they hold PTI's ticket, and they will be contesting on different symbols, and they will not be, PTI will not be able to run its campaign on a unified symbol. That becomes a big problem for a party which claims to be a national party.
And also considering the fact that they are, as far as going to the Supreme Court is concerned, that seems to be the option for them at this time. Do you expect the Supreme Court to step in at this late hour?
Well, that depends on the Supreme Court itself. But I think that the first step would be the High Court. Islamabad High Court would be the first step if they have to go through a process, because if they directly go to the Supreme Court, they will be trying to go under the original jurisdiction of Supreme Court.
Let's get a lawyer on this.
But that is very tricky.
Right.
So they will have to go to the High Court, I guess.
Fair enough. Let's go back and talk about the legal options with a legal expert. I'm going to go to Qaiser Sheikh. Qaiser, can you hear me? Qaiser, there is, a lot being said as far as the PTI is concerned. They went to court, they went to the ECP also as far as the level playing field issue is concerned. After this decision again, they are raising the same concerns. How would you respond to that? And of course, the invariable, what can one say, blame is being thrown at your political party. How would you answer this?
Yes, it is very important that inter-party elections have not been accepted, and then they will not be getting the symbol of bat. So it is very crucial for their party, because even otherwise, most of their candidates are not in the field. They have already left PTI, and now there are some voters maybe for that party, but they don't know who will be the candidate of the party. So it is a lot difficult to say anything about PTI at present, because they are still going to pursue their case to the courts, I think, and it is up to them. Whatever today they have up to now.
Why is the blame being thrown at your political party? You are not the ECP, you are not the Supreme Court, you are not part of this, allotting symbols. What does the PML-N have to do with it?
PML-N, you see, is accepting whatever our symbols are there, and PML-N has no objection for whatever election commission is deciding about it. It is a PTI between election commission and PTI. Election commission has to decide all these things, and if there is some objection by the PTI, they can pursue their case to the court of law. But at present, they are scattered. Their party is not in a good move. It's very difficult for them to contest for the election. It is already, as you see, tomorrow will be the last day of their nomination papers filing. And presently, they are not, I think, having a clear idea about who has to contest and who will be the leader of the party. So still, all these things would be cleared by next week, I think.
I will go to Ali Rashid and then I will come back to you. Ali, there is, again, what's happened as far as, the PTI is concerned. We are, as far as the PPP is concerned, we were earlier also talking about it. The challenges here in studio, that the challenges for the PPP and as far as the PML-N is concerned, regarding the same issue, of course, it didn't involve the same circumstances, but of course your parties are relatively older parties, more organized parties. In this case, with the former Prime Minister also in jail, the chances for the PTI at this time are looking rather grim. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely, I would agree. There's no organization. I think a lot of their workers have joined different parties. A lot of their leaders are underground. Now, obviously, the new thing which has come that they won't be allotted the symbol of the bat. So definitely things don't look good for PTI. And but I feel that other parties in the past have faced similar sort of issues. There was a time where PPP had PPP's election symbol was not always the it was the sword earlier, but then they had to contest election under the arrow. Similar was the case with the MQM. It started off with a lock, a pala, and then they had to switch to which was a patang. So these kind of challenges parties have faced in the past as well, but I think PTI won't be able to get through this or see it through because of the fact that the leader is in jail, and also the fact because most of the leadership is nowhere to be seen.
Ali, there's not, do you think that the kind of situation that is developing as a political worker, as being also part of PPP, do you think the people overall, does this not become a challenge for the elections? Can the elections themselves become controversial when this kind of a scenario manifests, in your opinion?
Look, I feel whatever happened through a process, and yes, it will certainly be a bit controversial. But at the same time, if you actually look at the acts of the former chairman of PTI, everything he did was, a bit questionable and controversial itself. So yes, there are things and which will they will leave a big question on the elections. But in my opinion, everything happened in a timely manner, and everything happened. I think it's no surprise to anyone. I think the fact that will PTI have the bat or not was a question on everyone's mind for some time now, because the way the cases are unfolding, all the arrests, all the trials, how the former chairman is not the chairman anymore. Then a new chairman came. Then again, there was a leadership crisis because the old guard was saying, why Was there no one in PTI worthy enough to become the chairman? Why this guy who was just joined last year? So there are a lot of issues within the party. So I feel if for any reason PTI is unable to perform or whoever they nominate don't win, so it won't be very controversial. It will be expected. So in my opinion, it won't be a big surprise if they're not able to do well in the coming elections.
You think they'll accept the elections?
Excuse me?
You think that they will, as a party, accept the elections?
I don't think. I can't really say if they will accept it or they will not accept it. But if they do go into elections by, for example, independent individuals with different election symbols or a new election symbol, I'm not sure. Depends what their course of action is. If they do contest elections, if they don't boycott, that's a different story. If they boycott, then obviously they won't accept it. But if they're actually contesting, even independently, and then they lose, and then they don't accept it, then the question is on them, right? If you felt that the process is pre-rigged or it's not in your favor, or if you think it's not fair, then why not just boycott altogether? Why go into election in the first place? Why are the candidates even getting formed in the first place if they don't have trust in the process now?
Let me come back to you. Aniq Zafar, I don't know if did you follow what Ali, he's saying that, why not boycott the elections if they're not going to accept the results? But I think boycotting the elections at this stage, even if whatever the situation is for the PTI, would be a serious mistake. Would you agree?
Well,
because no political
the past
party
history of Pakistan shows that boycotting an election does not suit you. Though I am of the opinion that PTI boycotting 2007-2008 elections was in fact a very positive sort of positive development for them, because they sat out and then they were able to build their campaign against PPP and PML-N, that they have joined hands and they are partners in crime, blah, blah, blah. So they built a narrative on that. In that sense, that helped them in back then. But now when they are now an established political party, I don't think boycott will help them. But again, the question is that if their leadership, whatever leadership is sitting outside and or inside, what do they foresee? If they foresee that even if by putting up candidates, they are not going to win it or not win a comfortable number of seats, they may sit out, boycott, and then again go back to the streets.
If they don't,
but is the current circumstances are that for going back to the streets, even they will need at least 2 to 3 years. Before that, the party currently does not have that strength. The cadre, they will have to build the cadre, the strength again.
But
to go back to the
even
streets.
now, if we look at what's happened as far as the PTI itself is concerned, they will have to contest as independents.
Well,
if they don't have a symbol at this time.
Again, as I said, that taking a cue from Ali Rashid's point, a lot of it depends what shape, in what shape the party survives till the elections, right? If it survives as a party but does not have a symbol, then what will be the strategy? They already are short of candidates. They do not have candidates, strong candidates on all the constituencies. Many candidates have left them. It is all good for sloganeering and grandstanding that we can give a ticket to anyone and they will contest the election. That's not how it happens, because contesting election in the field is entirely a different science, and it is understood by those who have contested elections in the past. Newbies cannot master that craft. So it's not an easy thing. But what about the strategy,
before I go to Qaiser Saab, what about the strategy of giving tickets to lawyers, which we saw happen also?
Again, only those lawyers will be effective who have in the past been in the political process, have been part of the political families or groups. New lawyers new ticket holders, I don't find them making any difference.
Their faces, and also people who are known to the public, people who are accepted by the public, perhaps those people can be more accepted by the voters. There's certainly true about that. Let me go to Qaiser Saab. Qaiser Saab, what about, other than whatever has happened, let's leave that aside by the Election Commission and what the Supreme Court will do, or the legal avenues that are open to the PTI as a political party for them to exercise those. Your party also, in terms of seat adjustments with other political parties, are you finding it particularly challenging? Is the PML-N finding, for example, with parties like the Istehkam party in Punjab, is it proving to be particularly cumbersome?
PML-N has been having a discussion and talks to have some understanding about the tickets about the parties and some seat adjustments. So it is a long process. It's a difficult process also. So I think there is some bargaining and some adjustments and negotiations going on. Eventually, you see, not much time is left. So up to 12th of next month, everything has to be decided with the party. But each and every party is claiming to have more and more seats. So I think in Punjab we have enough candidates. And I think only we are not in a position.
Your own party candidates also, right? I mean, people who have your established candidates in particular constituencies, and then having to adjust, the IPP also, Istehkam party also in this kind of scenario. Are your own loyalists getting disappointed? How is it working?
I think you see, because in Punjab, everyone knows that PML-N has a strong base, and we are very strong in constituencies. You see, election is not like this, that the parties of course matter, but individual candidates also matter a lot, because they are in constant touch with the people, and it's a political process. It is not like that a new aspirant, he can contest and he can think about winning the election. It's not so easy. So the candidates have to work for the whole 5 years and have to be very near to the people. They would have to sort out their matters. So I think in different, you see in Sindh, of course, interior of Sindh People Party is strong, and in Karachi there's all these parties have some sort of their own popularity. So you see, it's interesting to find out how these seat adjustments are finalized. I think in Punjab it is very difficult for PML-N candidates that they could accommodate more seats to the other parties. And if some parties are accepting the quantities of their candidates, the number of their candidates, I think only then there could be seat adjustments. It is, of course, not yet finalized, even in Sindh with MQM and JUI, and then all these parties, they are trying to have their coalition adjustments. So it's interesting. Karachi election, last election, most of the seats, about 12 seats.
Yes, sir, I want to go to Ali and ask him the same question, but there are reports that Bilawat Bhutto Zardari is planning to contest from Punjab. Is that going to be a challenge for the PML-N?
No, not at all. As far as I feel, it's not so easy for any candidate. Of course, they can contest anywhere they like. So in Punjab, you see, People Party in last elections, they did not have much of success. They could, in the center of Punjab, they could succeed only for 2-3 seats, 2 seats, some 1 or 2 seats in provincial assembly. Even Tehreek-e-Labbaik got more votes than People Party in last 2018 election. Of course, you see, it's very difficult to work in the constituencies. The candidates have to work the whole 5 years. Parties are not very active in Pakistan politics. Of course, there is, because there are some parties popular in some areas, some other parties are popular in other areas. So, of course,
let's ask Ali the same question. Ali, your leader, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, is contesting from Punjab. Does he feel that, you know, it needs that kind of, you know, a leader of his magnitude? What is the method behind this? Because, of course, you know, traditionally it's been Karachi and Sindh, no? Ali, can you hear me? No, I think, like Aniq Sahab, let's talk about this seat adjustment scenario. What do you expect now from, you know, the elections? Let's leave the PTI out for a little while if we don't know what's going to happen in terms of, but of course there is the factor of independent candidates anyway. You know, there will be those that will contest and that will divide the votes in different places. What do you think, you know, if PTI chooses to maybe, you know, either not participate, boycott, or does want to go ahead without a symbol, maybe, you know, that will, their own voter may not go and vote even. Isn't that true?
Yeah, I mean, there are 2 or 3 kinds of voters. There are party voters, then there are loyalist voters, and then there are swing voters. So, most of the people who vote on the basis of loyalty or to their parties, they may not step out if PTI is not in the field. But then there are other groups and voter blocks which vote along with the swing. In Punjab particularly, there is definitely a swing vote, which in each constituency can be calculated at 25, 30,000 or 35,000, which decides which party is going to win and going to. And in Punjab, generally the trend has been that it's always a 2-way fight, majority of the seats. There are seats which go 3-way, but 2-way is majority of the time. And in the last elections, the 2-way fight was between PTI and PML-N.
Which fight, what do you think this will be?
It will be this time.
The young voter, don't forget the 40%.
The young voter is very, very crucial. But again, despite claims that PTI perhaps has a majority of it, but that does not mean that they have all of it, right? So, and also we have to understand that
we have no way of knowing who. There might be
because all these surveys I have seen so far, all these surveys I have seen for so far have been very, very sort of tricky and suspect, because these were not, and I questioned on the social media to these survey companies that what was your methodology, and none came back with any correct answer. Someone said that it's a Twitter-based poll, but that is not a scientific way of doing polling. I'm sure that the companies...
And some parties, political parties, have traditionally been known to have more media presence than, social media presence than other political parties. Yeah. Which may be better on the ground.
And also, because again, social media or Twitter, in fact, has only 4.6 million users in Pakistan. So that does not represent
the majority of people in, for example, South Punjab, or for example, Sindh or interior Sindh.
Also, it's a certain socioeconomic class which is present there. It is not spread across all what we in marketing terms call socioeconomic class.
But is it true? Everyone who has a phone now, and most
phone is a different thing. Social media consumption on the consumption platforms are different. There is TikTok. There is YouTube, there is Facebook. So the consumption patterns for different education levels, for different socioeconomic classes are different. So coming back to the point that how will the field look like? Now there are people who say that People's Party is making an effort to enter into Punjab by seeing this vacuum, that if PTI is not present in the field, perhaps they may get some swing vote, they may get some vote which is not, which does not want to vote with PML-N, but does want to vote. So People's Party is trying to make a comeback through that door.
Particularly through the face of Bilawal Bhutto.
Particularly for the face of Bilawal Bhutto, because he's fresh. He has
and he's also said so many times that I am,
I am young, and I actually am the future of the country, and so he's building up on that campaign.
Narrative,
and
yes.
To his credit, he is the only leader right now among the major parties who is actually in the field. Others haven't stepped out as yet. So he is campaigning around the country, has been to different parts of Pakistan.
But Maryam Nawaz herself is very much a part of the process of the ticket.
Yeah, she is part of the process.
Board,
I'm saying going into the field, interacting with the people, that hasn't started yet from
the electoral process. But of course, she's done that much
in
earlier.
the past. Yeah.
Ji, Ali, can you hear me? Ali?
Yes.
Ji, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Ji, Ali, there is, I wanted to ask you about Bilawal Bhutto Zardari's contesting from Punjab. Is that going to, is that a try to get into Punjab? And how strong do you feel his chances are, considering that traditionally, of course, Sindh and Karachi has been the foothold for PPP?
I feel it's the constitutional right of any individual contesting from the National Assembly to contest from anywhere in Pakistan. Okay. And I feel Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Sahab has that charm where he's attracting a lot of young people. 60% of the Pakistani population is the youth, and majority of the population of Pakistan is from Punjab. So where would be a better place for him to contest elections from, but from Lahore, from the main city area where people can relate to him, who are young, dynamic, who want change, who want to see things done differently. As he's also said that we need to get rid of the politics of the past and focus on what can be done in the future with new ideas, be innovative, be creative, and get Pakistan through this difficult time. So I think everybody is looking towards Chairman Bilawal, and I think he enjoys a lot of popular support all over Pakistan, not just in Punjab.
Do you think that, it's like we were talking about in the studio also, if the PTI is not part of the electoral process, or even if it is and it doesn't have a symbol, do you think that's also may help the PPP to, as far as the swing voter is concerned, to sway that vote bank? Is it, you can target that vote bank as far as the PPP is concerned?
Absolutely. I think it will be a good opportunity because I think people have, when it comes to PML-N and when it comes to PTI, a lot of people had seen both of them just victimizing each other, where PML-N is talking about PTI, PTI is talking about PML-N. Nobody's talking about Pakistan. So I feel especially people who are anti-PML-N or people who are pro-Pakistan will be looking towards PPP and especially towards Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Sahab because they have lack of options. And if PTI is not there, I think PTI supporters will also, if wanting to exercise their vote, will probably choose a party like People's Party.
Okay, please stay with us, Ali. I'll come back to you in just a little bit. Qaiser Sahab, you heard Ali, and he's saying that, as far as the PML-N is concerned, it has involved a dialogue against the PTI instead of anything more conclusive. How would you respond to this? Because as far as the voter is concerned, they want concrete, manifestos with concrete changes that political parties are going to propose. Does the PML-N have those?
Ali is assuming that there are majority of the voters are young, and then they automatically will go to the young leader. You see, you can calculate that how many MNAs from in the National Assembly are young. Actually, the young voter doesn't give votes definitely to the young person. They vote to the person whom they like, whom he elects and choose. So the things are very clear in Punjab. People Party, you see the performance of People Party in last 15 years in Sindh is before everybody. Everyone knows that what People Party did and last 10 years in KPK, what PTI did, and also the performance of PML-N is before the people. You see, in Punjab, I am very much in this politics. It is my 7th consecutive election which I am contesting. You see, in Punjab, it is very difficult for other parties. PTI got votes in last election, but they were manipulated to get some of the results because the candidates were not available in many constituencies in last election. Similar trend is here in this election that most of the PTI, they don't have the candidates in the constituencies, and even those people who are, their candidates are very new, not seasoned politicians. It is always, I feel, in the rural areas, more important is the candidate. Parties don't have much percentage of vote, maybe 10 to 15% of their votes they give on the basis of their parties. And you see the social media, the Twitter, very few people are familiar with this Twitter and all those ideas. People here, they feel their own requirements. They have their own what has been done in for their villages, for their basic needs. Of course, inflation is very important. That they have to take care about their livelihood. It is becoming very, very difficult. So they must vote to the party whom they feel that they can give good results in future and who have good performance in the past.
So it is interesting. Has that stronghold in Punjab?
Yes, very strong, very strong. Presently.
Let me come back to you, Ali. As far as we were earlier, I had this conversation, maybe a few months back, on how difficult it seems overall. There was general agreement on any one particular party being able to secure a significant majority or 2/3 majority. If this symbol is, if the PTI doesn't have a symbol, if they are left to contest independently, you think that there are chances of a 2/3 majority for the other main political parties?
In my personal opinion, I don't think any party will be able to get a 2/3 majority, and it will be a coalition government. In my opinion, that is my personal opinion. But the chances of People's Party being a party with the being the single largest party, not talking about 2/3, but single largest parties, are very high, because if you do the maths, Sindh, we have the entire Sindh. As you can see, Balochistan, majority of the electables, main people from Balochistan have joined PPP. South Punjab, majority of it is with PPP, and in Central Punjab, we will give a very tough time to PML-N and other political parties, and Central Punjab will be divided amongst a few parties. And KP, again, we have very good chances of securing several seats. So overall, if you look at the situation of Pakistan, I think...
Fair enough. Let me come back to you. Aniq, what is your take on this? On this, because obviously all parties want a significant majority to be able to make the kind of changes they envisage for Pakistan. Do you think if PTI is taken out of this, because of the symbol situation, we don't know what will happen, we don't know what the Supreme Court will do. I mean, things are in a flux for them right now. But do you think it will give more leeway to other political parties in terms of securing more majority, perhaps I don't know about a 2/3, but overall?
Well, overall, at least at this stage, I do not see any party taking a simple majority. Okay. I am still positive on a coalition government. Okay. My prediction is that it will be a coalition government, and no party will have a simple majority. It will be a very crowded field. Even if you take out PTI, there will be other factors which will be kicking in, like independent candidates. You yourself talked about them. Independent candidates will be putting up a good fight on the seats where PTI is not present, because many
because it will depend on
look at PML-N's own dilemma. That, for example, in Faisalabad, on one of the seats, the problem is that one of the old loyalist PML-N leader may not get the ticket, because because of the adjustments which were made at the time of vote of no confidence. One of those candidates has been promised a ticket, and he is being accommodated. That's what the grapevine is. And that loyalist, I'd like to name here, Talal Chaudhary, is not being given a ticket from the constituency he wants to contest. Similarly,
seat adjustments
are a problem.
Yes.
There will be some loyalists who will not contest as independents, but there will be people who will contest as independents because they will not like to leave space for any other candidate.
Fair enough. Let me go to Qaiser Saab on this. Qaiser Saab, if this kind of scenario manifests, there seems to be agreement that one political party to attain the kind of majority they want at this time is going to be difficult. How are you going to make the kind of changes that you want? How is the PML-N, for example, if your party wins, but there is a coalition, there is talk of Istehkam party adjustment, all of this, is it going to, how will the PML-N, if it comes into power, make the kind of changes that, we've talked about before, before the elections also, on the economic front also, on, we talk about doing reforms across the board. With that kind of majority which is dependent upon the kind of these allied parties or the independents, it will prove difficult, will it not, for your party also?
Of course, I do agree that it is very difficult to get majority by any single party. So there will be alliances and coalition government will be there. And this will be decided after once the results of the election are there. And it is also difficult to have a coordination between the parties. You see, it is each and every party has their own popularity in their constituencies. So even there is a coalition government, then the thinking of the parties is different. There should be at least minimum common agenda, at least minimum charter of economy, which the parties should coordinate and cooperate. Otherwise, it's very difficult. The future of we are facing a lot of economic problems, and we would have to coordinate and to make decisions which is in the benefit of the country and the people at large. You see, the people are suffering. At present, there is
about... Sir, do you expect there to be that kind of a majority for any political party?
I don't feel, I mentioned to you, it is difficult to get a majority because in different provinces, different parties are popular. So, of course, there could be this remote possibility there that one single party has a majority in the parliament. But still,
as far as for political parties to satisfy their allied partners, for them to satisfy independents who come with into power with them, the situation can become tricky for any political party.
Of course, it is evident if one single party doesn't get majority, then the coordination and the understanding between the parties is a must. In India, you see, many times there has been a coalition government that has been successful. But in Pakistan, we have not good experience of having coalition governments. And of course, because you see, the manifesto of each and every party is a lot different. We should have to find out some common ground and some, at least, for the people, we could not, you see, up to now, it is very clear in 1990.
Common ground with the Istehkam party, you feel?
Yes, of course. Why not? In the Istehkam party, I feel that there is a possibility, even with the MQM and GDA and all these. You see, potential and possibility is there, of course. But first of all, the results. What are the results of election that the outcome should come? And it is, you see, we have with the infighting between the political parties, we could not, the last 5 years, we could not deliver a lot for the country, for the people. 95 million.
Even if there's no infighting, Qaiser Saab, like there were about 12 political parties in the PDM government, when there are so many parties together, that also becomes tricky. Fighting, of course, is part of, it's not going to help anyone, but so is a coalition of that magnitude.
Yes, that was the magnitude. 12 or 13 parties were there. So they have different manifestos now. For example, state-owned organizations. It is very crucial to decide about it for the Pakistan economy, what to do about it. But you see different parties have different ideas. So still decisions are not being made in that direction. So at least there should be some common agenda. There should be some charter of economy. How can all these matters, you see, for example, the privatization and state-owned enterprises, this is difficult things to sort out. And again, you see there are matters which is not in the one party is thinking about other direction, the other party is thinking about other direction. So, of course, this could be.
Let me come. Ali, we're running out of time, but do you see yourself after the elections, becoming a part of, perhaps allied partners with perhaps the PML-N, if it comes down to it, if the numbers are like this? Because, of course, you were, as PPP was part of the PDM government. And if the numbers so dictate, you might still have to become a part of, the political parties might still, again, have to team up to govern, so to speak.
Yeah, look, we are open for dialogue and we are willing to speak. If the results require us to sit together and to see if we can form the government together, definitely we will sit together and discuss it. We also have the option of forming the government without any party, if possible. If not PML-N, maybe some other party, depending how many seats we get. We also have the option of sitting in opposition. So there are many options depending on what the results are like and what the situation is like. So yes, it is definitely possible. And I think in democracy we should always keep everything, all doors open for talks, and definitely be open for that.
Thank you for being with us. Aniq Zafar Saab, thank you for joining us. Qaiser Ahmad Sheikh, thank you for being with us today. Ali Rashid, thank you for joining us today. Overall, of course, what happens as far as the PTI is concerned after the ECP's decision, the legal process that it's invariably involved in them going through to overturn the decision that the ECP has made, we will know maybe in a day or so. But overall, it seems that things have gotten difficult for them, more difficult, one has to contend. And overall, as far as the political process is concerned, it seems at this time all political parties are going through their own challenges, whether one calls them seat adjustment or this election symbol challenge as far as the PTI is concerned. Of course, in a day or two, as the scrutiny process begins, things will become clearer as to the candidates, the party affiliations and all of that. Thank you so much for joining us today.